see miracles. Dodge the negative vibes and stay spiritual.
Make musicians blow and egos grow. Digs another grave for the food.
Keep my faith in God and see miracles. Dodge the negative vibes and stay spiritual.
The leading reason for treason in most cases, one of a kind.
I see things get bad, shit get worse. Praying up to God, I see the devil in the church, cupping people at the Holy Ghost. Then I seen a hearse, visions of a black man. Law enforcement, they kill for endorsements. Better off, I probably push up in the Porsches. Shit get slim, then lights get dim. Fuck it, they kill each other, why not kill all of them? I wish my people would wake up, but we never wake up. All we do was rob a scheme to take up. Around slavery times, my ancestors with slavery times. So I gotta write slavery rhymes. Now they wanna pursue me, they never knew. All I do was bring up Malcolm and Huey. Keep my faith in God and see miracles. Dodge the negative vibes and stay spiritual.
It's the number one demand in every lane. It's the number one demand in every lane.
Keep my faith in God and see miracles. Dodge the negative vibes and stay spiritual. They took religion out to school. No more praying.
Okay. What's good with your family? You tapped into DOATBM. I'm back to online.com. It's your boy FONZi. You tapped in with Floss Mode, aka Floss Angeles. That was a little quick introduction featuring the Watts Prophets, a song called The Root of All Evil. Definitely breaking it down. What's good, fam?
Oh man, I'm blessed, man. You know what I mean? Big shout out to the Watts Prophets, my father, D, my uncle. You know what I'm saying? And the rest of the Watts Prophets, big up, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt, man. I've been checking out the Watts Prophets stuff. Definitely, they lay down a lot of foundational history, classics, and I mean the music and the message was definitely deep and poignant, and something that it's good to see you continuing within music, modern music, because you know it's necessary, especially when we look at Black conversation and stuff. And that's one thing we're going to be discussing over this episode is Black betterment and development and stuff like that. And you know, the Watts Prophets, when I think of some of the stuff that they put down, just that whole kind of flavor and vibe and addressing certain topics in a poetic way, I think that's really necessary, man.
It definitely is, man. And the message that they had, my uncle always taught me when I was young, he's like, be a leader, not a follower. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, I took heed from my uncle. But for those who really don't know about the Watts Prophets, because before their time, before my time, but my uncle, Father on D, actually, I have a picture. I'm gonna put it up. I posted it on Instagram. Basically, my uncle, you know, he was a thug, and then he reformed and turned his life around. And then him and Bob Marley were close friends. And so towards the end, when Bob Marley had died, you can look this up on YouTube. Bob Marley's funeral. My uncle did the eulogy at Bob Marley's funeral, and so you know, my uncle would work with. They was working with. Actually, DJ Quick is the one who really sampled my uncle and put him on the map. My uncle's on Black Pussy. If you go back to DJ Quick's first album, you know, when I used to be around Quick and Greedy Greg and all of them, you know, I told him who my uncle was, and nigga grabbed me off my feet. Like, do you know who your uncle is? So they were like one of the first rappers in Watts, you know what I mean, to actually have spoken word and talk about what was going on in the hood. They were the first rappers. It was the Last Poets and the Watts Prophets and Gil Scott-Heron and a bunch of dope poets, you know what I mean? On the song, when you just played on the intro, I said they took religion out to school. No more praying. Now they shooting in school. See what I'm saying? And the devil's getting younger and younger. Blood sacrifice. Feed the devil's hunger. Take a look in the mirror. You better open your eyes. The revolution has now been televised. Niggas is institutionalized. I went hard on it because I felt like, you know, this my uncle. They're older. You know, it's hard to catch up with him. You know, this nigga superstar. Too Short sampled him too, man. A bunch of rappers. I seen Africa Bambaataa speak about my uncle. And one time I seen him perform in Santa Monica, and who was in the fucking crowd, in the crowd in the front row, listening to every word, loving every word. Rest in peace was the homeboy Eazy-E.
Oh wow, that's dope. That's definitely legendary right there. Rest in peace to Easy. You know, definitely. And your uncle and stuff. I mean, what's he do now? What's he doing at the minute?
what he's doing right now, man. My uncle's like this figure. Like right now, he's in Humboldt County. That's where they stay at. And so when you come into Humboldt County, they have a sign that says the things that you need to see before you leave Humboldt County, and his name is up under one of them. He's actually a remarkable person to sit up and talk with. You know, he always gave it to me cut and dry. So you know what I'm saying, I want to say big up to my uncle, Father Amdi, the Watts Prophets. You know what I'm saying? I think one of the Watts Prophets that died. I forget Otis or Richard or which one of them, but rest in peace to him. And I just look forward, man. I look at this game. I look at this industry right now and what motherfuckers is talking about, and it seems like they talking about the same shit. You know what I mean? Out of all the things that's going on in this world, this is what y'all picked to talk about. Like, look at the public enemies and look at the Ice Cubes, America's Most Wanted Ice Cube. You know what I'm saying? And these niggas who they were speaking the gangster shit, they were speaking the street shit, but at the same time, we have messages in our music, and that's what a lot of these rappers is missing. But I'm not downing a lot of them because a lot of them is dope. Like, I really have to sit down and check myself sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And say, who am I not to listen to these young niggas and hear what they talking about? You know what I mean? So like a young, rest in peace to Young Dolph, and what's a Money Bag Yo? You know, I like them. Kevin Gates, I like them. You know what I'm saying? So it ain't nobody hating and nothing like that. I big up the new rappers and shit like that, for real.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, what made you I guess want to address the topics that you did on that song? I mean, you know, we got to really get into some more topics under discussion in terms of, you know, betterment, development within the community and stuff. But what made you, you know, want to speak on some of the stuff you're speaking on that track?
Just the experience. Just being around it, seeing shit. Like when you in the music, you get to really see some real rotten motherfuckers, man. Like some people that's really rotten. Like they go out their way to slander your name, or if you wasn't nice to them, or you may have a certain opinion about something that you may feel like that you're right about, and if you don't feel their views, then you know you start seeing a lot of demonic things going on, and propositioning, and people asking you how bad do you want to be a star, and your money start being funny, and your change start being strange, and all these type of things, and you wondering. You got to realize these companies is watching you. You know, these artists, they sign you. But I noticed that when we got signed, when I was in the group Himalayas, the first thing that they said to us was, we want you to be like, you know what I'm saying? I was like, well, why the fuck you signed us? You signed us because of who we were. So why would you want us? They just wanted you to follow the trends because the record company people don't really give a fuck about our culture. And they just found the ways to make money off of it. And so they watch you, and they have people from the record company that come and, you know, chaperone you and all these type of things. And they see your vices. They see you like to drink lean. They see you like to pop pills. They see you like to smoke and all that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? And then you worth more dead than alive. You know what I'm saying? So motherfuckers got to watch they be real stars and watch how they move. Because, man, the eyes is on motherfuckers. They on you.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, you didn't see a lot, as you said, you just mentioned his time with the Himalayas, you know, being signed early on, having experiences, which you spoke on, you know, in other stuff, you know, some of the things that you've seen within the industry and stuff. And I know there's a lot more to get into, but you just made a point there where you said that they're able to see you and sort of see, you know, what issues, what vices, what stuff you might have. And to an extent, you feel that they will play into that?
Yes, they will. Of course they will. Of course they will. It's a weakness. Your vice don't always have to be drugs. Your vice could be women. Your vice could be you thirst to gangbang. You thirst to. It could be a whole bunch of shit. You know what I'm saying? And so they feed off that, and they see all this. You got to realize they put money behind you, so they noticing and watching every fucking thing that you're doing. You know what I'm saying? And so I ain't gonna name no names, but there's motherfuckers that really can't even perform. You know what I'm saying? That signed to major labels, major record companies that can't perform, or they have to have them in spots where where it's small towns, big venues, small towns though, smaller crowds. Like, you know, I don't know, man. I just look at this game, man. Like they proposition you on some sexual shit and everything when it comes to this shit.
Ain't that crazy? I mean, one thing when we know, obviously, especially when we're speaking about the black man, obviously the progenitor of the planet and stuff, and gave birth to many different nations and stuff like that. So we know that genetically there's a fundamental aspect of development, regeneration, all that stuff that comes from sexual energy and stuff as well. There's a lot of power involved in it. So we know that that can obviously be used in different ways, and it can be misused and stuff like that too, which is definitely something that we see a lot of in modern society, the industry and stuff like that. So, recently we seen even like with T.I., he was caught up in some allegations and stuff like that with, apparently him and his wife and different kind of stuff. And, he kind of addressed it and said he ain't gonna get into it. What they get up to is their own business. We've had, the stories with Bill Cosby, amongst others, and different things like that. Do you feel as though certain aspects of I guess sexualization has been introduced to us as a people that have come from, I guess, other people and other cultures and stuff that's now been adopted by a lot of our people?
It is, but like I said this like some months ago, man. I was like, you know, it's some people that control this industry. There's some people who control this shit, and you don't know what they look like, you don't know what they sound like, you don't know their name or nothing. And so they sit up and watch the TV just like we watch the TV. And they may look at T.I. and them and be on some shit like, you know, T.I. ain't never been through nothing. He been through a little stuff, but he ain't really been through nothing. But he's quick to defend his people when wrongdoing is going on. They like, who the fuck T.I. think he is? You feel what I'm saying? And so this people sit up there and throw monkey wrenches. But what they don't know, this one thing I'll say about Tip and them, because I used to live in Atlanta and I would see Tip. Not saying I hella know him and we buddy chummy, but I did used to see him, and the nigga bought a one of the Mustangs or whatever the fuck, I think the Cutlasses or something, from my homeboy Crutch out there in Atlanta. What I will say about T.I. and them, that's their motherfucking business. Whatever the fuck they doing in the bedroom or whatever, as long as they ain't hurt nobody or nothing like that, is people gonna come out the woodworks and have a whole bunch to say that's not even true. But this is the thing I want to address about T.I. and them, was the fact that I was out there and I got to really see, through the shadows and be around certain people and be around them and see sometimes that them girls talk bad about Tiny, and they have so much to say about Tiny, and she this, she that, she not a looker, she this and this and that, but she's a ride or die. And they like, that T.I. and them breaking up. T.I. ain't going no motherfucking where, and as well as Tiny ain't going nowhere. I remember when she had the paper and she was still in that nigga corner and making sure he was good. So now that the tables have turned, you know what I'm saying, and he's in charge, you feel what I'm saying? They are a couple that you should admire and try to base yourself like. You know what I'm saying? Because if he go to jail, she gonna go to jail. You feel what I'm saying? Like, that's a ride or die. They do everything together. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, definitely. Speaking of ride or dies, this is gonna bring us to a couple of points, because this is one thing. That's definitely a term that has been coined and popularized within the community. To describe a certain stand-up kind of woman and counterpart. Now, I was watching a movie the other day. I ain't gonna get into what movie it was, but there was a few scenes on there that I found quite impactful, and I'm watching the characterization of the women, and this was set back in maybe the 70s and stuff. And I was having a conversation, funnily enough, with Katsa afterwards as well. Shout out to Katsa. And I was saying that, there's a certain testament to the black woman and being with the black man, that with a certain, when they're connected, there's a certain ride or die aspect where I feel as though you won't necessarily get from certain other types of women from different nations. Not to say you may not experience positive relationships with them or levels of love and stuff, but I feel there's an aspect that when you got a real sort of black woman with you, what they'd be willing to do to sacrifice with you and just hold things down with you. And I think that's important. So, me and Katsu was talking about it, and he was saying even in New York at the minute, which is hip hop capital, arguably one of the fashion capitals, a very influential place. When you walk the streets and you see billboards and stuff, you don't necessarily see any billboards with black couples. You see mixed couples and stuff like that, or black men with women of different nations and stuff like that. So do you feel there's some kind of an agenda there? And what do you think about like the black woman being like the ultimate ride or die?
Of course she is. Black people, black women, black men, period. We are the chosen people. Anytime another race may go out of their way to try to make sure that we are constantly not stable or just as an equal, then it's a problem, but I love black women. I feel like sometimes black women, their mouths, it's like M16 machine guns. And they say, well, if you would just be a man, if you would just let me, you understand what I'm saying? But of course, I would never trade a black woman, period. I love all races and women. I'm just a lover of women, period. But, I love black women. Just like black men have been battered and bruised and mentally scarred, the black woman has also, so we as a people, we've all been damaged, and so it's hard. Relationships, I call it relationship, relationships are hard, and it's getting harder and harder because it's the ratio of women. I know women, when I say this, women gonna be like, motherfucker, if you don't knock it off. But in actuality, as being a man of today, we're the victims because it's more women in the world than it is men, and so what is a man to do? We're known to go forth and multiply and stuff like that. The women are the ones that's grounded. The women are the ones that's grounded, and everybody knows that. Women mature faster than men, and so they have to be a little more patient with us. It's not only the men's fault, it's the women's fault too. A man is only going to do what a woman will allow him to do, in certain situations. So, but yes, I love black women.
Yeah, no doubt, man. I mean, you make some great points there. One of the things that you just spoke on, which was definitely a good point, was just in terms of being, a chosen, an original people. It's definitely something that credence needs to be led to, as we can see in various shades of forms around the world, a modern society. Things are adopted and in some cases appropriated by others and stuff. Even though there's such a mixed bag where a lot of the times it seems like people don't really have a genuine like for us in one aspect. But
no, everybody wants to be a nigga. Everybody wants to be a nigga until the police come. First of all, you can tell they have an agenda against us because if they didn't, how come they give reparations and give money to every other single race and quick to run and help every single race but black people?
Yep. I mean, people could move to almost, different European nations and stuff, especially the biggest Western nations, like namely England and America, from other places around the world. And as you said, be offered certain modes of support to even start businesses and certain things like that and get community support and things like that, where you could
at the end of the day, bro,
be born within one of those nations and they offering you the same.
At the end of the day, bro, if I took holes on a people, if I lynched some people, if I hung them from trees, if I got two horses and tied both of their arms to each horse, burn motherfuckers, raped motherfuckers, I would kind of be shaky a little bit too on giving the people who I was beating and doing that to some power, because they would figure that motherfuckers will come back and have retaliation and come back, when in actuality all we trying to do is live. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like that's the reason why they're not really fucking with us like that. So
yeah,
I mean, but that's okay.
Yeah, yeah, when you think of some of the stuff that's been done, some of the atrocities, and it seems to an aspect it wants to be hidden in some forms. People don't necessarily want to speak on it. They don't want to address a lot of the things that have happened. We've seen people in uproar about critical race theory being discussed in schools and stuff like that. So it's an interesting notion. I think one of the points that I wanted to get into was when you sort of said about the women and the maturity and just some of the disparity that we see in relationships. Now, it leads me to a lot of people may be familiar with the Willie Lynch letter and stuff, Willie Lynch syndrome and things of that nature, and other suggestions of coercion from higher forces that have been, played onto the black community. So one thing some people say is that women were given certain points within society and the system to placate them with levels of comfort, and also to provide a separation between the women and the men in a lot of aspects where we see homes where people are growing up and the women sort of think she can just take the helms because she got a job or she got social security or she got whatever it is sort of taking care of her in a sense. So the guy then ends up being left out on a limb, as you said, in some cases. And we do see sometimes that dangling carrot from others in the aspect of, if you get with one of us or one of our daughters, we can make things sort of easy for you. But like you said, there's that thing then where you have to try and subsequently become something you're not, or sometimes you have to they don't want you to be yourself, as strange as that may seem. Yopmouth was speaking on it recently on his podcast about even in the past and dating the Asian girl and some of the stuff that she had said her family that had just traditionally brought her up with a certain image of black men. Now the interesting thing is a lot of people, they still want to be with black men, but they hold a certain type of image there. So there's a lot there to explore.
Man, we the chosen people, man. Every woman, every race of woman have lust or wanted to be with a black man. We're the chosen people. Not saying that nobody else is chosen and their race. Whatever,
I'll just chime in and say a lot of the men as well have the same lust or fantasy to be the black woman as well. But yeah, from other nations. And
they do it. This like it was a powerful scene. If people go back and go look up Jungle Fever. Rest in peace to Ossie Davis and Ruby Dee. That scene that Ossie Davis did in Jungle Fever was remarkable. How he explained how the white man had put his white woman on a pedestal. You understand? The highest of pedestals or whatever. But he would go down to the sleeping quarters where the slaves was and be fucking the black women, and then the next day be out at the cotton gin sitting up talking about it and bragging. But after this white man would stay going down to the quarters, the sleeping quarters, to fuck these black women. That's why we got a lot of light-skinned people in our blood. But after a while, that white woman that he put on the pedestal, she wasn't getting service. She had needs, and she found herself going down there to the sleeping quarters where the big black mandingos was at, and that's then the story goes on. They didn't make movies about this shit. So you know what I'm saying? I can't make this shit up, but that's how a lot of this went on.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Still going on.
Yeah, and still going on. And as we can trace things, even people progenital lines, we can see examples of that. One of the things I want to get into, because we really want to build on development. We ain't here to just focus on the ills. Like sometimes you get a lot of podcasters or a lot of people just in general, they have conversations and they can tell you all the problems, what's going on in the world, but they don't have any solutions or anything at the same time. We like to discuss things from a real vantage point and offer up solutions where we can. And obviously we're looking for solutions that we can find and stuff as well, because this atrocity that's been put down on all of us is something that we're all striving to beat and overcome. Now, one of the things where I just spoke about when we did we're saying like with the relationships and there being that sort of divide there, a lot of people feel that finances and economics plays a huge part in that, especially with things like for the most part certain rights and welfare and financial certain things going to the women, so they get I don't want to say they get a better level of support from the system, because we don't want to promote just being dependent upon that. However, with demand then and certain others, it could be harder to get into business. Some say they struggle with, finding funds, capital, and all that sort of stuff. And there's certain levels of the economic world that we may not be that versed in. Now, you yourself, you're familiar with people utilizing like credit and certain things like that. How important is that, and how can that be used within the
Man,
community?
first of all, I remember being I was chilling with Dre and them years ago, like almost like 20 some years ago. And I ain't gonna name the studio that we were at, but we were in the valley in the studio. And I don't know who this dude was, but I remember talking, and he was saying about the Illuminati and the New World Order and how money is really not gonna mean anything anymore. You know what I'm saying? That credit is about to be everything. And so that's what I've been focusing on for the last year or so. I'm just putting my little tools and fusing my money towards my credit to build my credit. Now my credit is in the sevens. And so you want to be able to own some shit, you know what I'm saying? Own some properties, and just to have something in your family in case of, your kids have a hard time. They always have a house that they know that they can come to, shit like that. But it's a lot of things that's going on in the world, and what I'm tired of at the same time, I'm tired of Black people talking about how the white people is keeping them down. Okay, that was true, and it is true somewhat of a factor of today, but not as much as it was back in those days compared to now. And so I feel like when this PPP loan came and all of that type of shit, and all this money they was giving motherfuckers was abusing it. Instead of taking the money, they was giving you an opportunity to create a business. I don't give a fuck if it was putting stripes on candy canes, or you was putting the little stick that goes on the top of a shoelace or whatever. I don't give a fuck. Come with a business and grow from it. You know what I'm saying? It's still not too late, but niggas want to ride around in Lamborghini trucks for 6 months, and then that shit is gone, and then they out there looking like a wide mouth mule. You feel me? So I just look at it like, stop trying to blame the white man for every motherfucking thing, and y'all get y'all shit together.
Yeah. I mean, do you think? I know, as you said, you made some points that as much as people can still feel victimization and still, claim it, may in some cases could be rightly, in some cases maybe not. But do you feel as though it's down to a lack of education more so? Like when we look at people
It's a
saying,
lack
okay,
of.
if you give somebody, if people ain't really been, if you just teach people that all they can be is workers and consumers sort of thing.
Well, I mean,
How
that's on
easy is
them
it for
though.
those
No,
people
that's
then
on them.
to
That's
set
on
up
them.
their
At
own?
first, you can they can put you in that realm, in that box, but that doesn't mean you have to stay there. You feel what I'm saying? And then as far as the education, of course, Black people need more education or whatever. But at the same time, what the fuck about common
Well, I mean,
sense?
to say that black people got a lot of qualification, probably some of the most qualified people, on the planet in terms of education and stuff now that
Right.
we are, because people do go to school, they study and stuff like that, and they get,
A lot of Black kids that go to school, gang
yeah,
of them.
well, I mean, the thing is, we see split folds with that because some feel as though those that do go and study, they don't necessarily sometimes bring that information or bring the value of it back to their own community. Where what we see with other people, like for instance, they will go study something and they will develop a business within their own community and use those skills and stuff for that. So often a lot of our people just become dare I say workers to a lot of others, as opposed to having that kind of ownership or even a control aspect in some companies.
They
Now
gotta
some
teach
will
the
argue
game. The
that that
Black
has
people gotta teach.
changed.
No, the Black people gotta teach the game
The ones
instead
that
of
know it.
soon as they get the game, that they turn right around and be like, the game is to be sold and not told. You got to break me off. Or when the PPP loan came and all the SB loan came, motherfuckers they was charging people so much money because of what they didn't know and what to put on there to get the loan. That's just wrong. Hold on for a second. I feel like if a motherfucker gonna help you, they're gonna help you. They'll give you, I'll give you some money, but you shouldn't try to take half their whole check because of you greedy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. There's definitely a lot of greed, but with its flashbacks come back. But yeah, there is that mentality of those who want to make it and be seen to be above others. I did mention the Willie Lynch letter and syndrome earlier, and I don't want to put everything down to that one particular piece of text or ideology. But do you feel as though some of that what people call crabs in a bucket. That mentality is something that pervades. Like, how deep you think that is? Like people wanting to be number one themselves. I'm doing well. A lot of us, we have families and we have gatherings and stuff. And sometimes at these gatherings, people don't even truly connect. It's more of a opportunity for people to who want to show off and say, I got this, or I'm doing.
Or they want to be the first ones with it, and this came from the
But
same
that's the thing,
situation that you just came from,
they
a
want to
broke
be the first with
situation,
it.
and as soon as they get on, they want to sit back and turn and look down. That's just some bullshit. But at the same time, like Jay-Z said, they said the crabs in a barrel. Why does it have to be a barrel? You feel me? Why does it have to be a barrel for them to climb over each other when it's enough money out here for fucking everybody? Y'all print the money. So it seems like after a while, all the good talk and all the good sweet talk and all that talk, I keep trying to say, just like I said last year when they elected Biden and all of them, I was like, look, the next go around, because it don't seem like they about to do what the fuck they supposed to be doing for black people with color in the White House or not. I feel like the next go round, the next election, black people need to be paid for their vote, and black people shouldn't even vote because it ain't if it ain't nothing benefiting for us. Then why should we vote? All we doing is putting people in office, the same shit that's been going on repetitiously over and over and over and over and over, and black people still in the same shit. We are a little better than we were, a little bit, but I feel like, you feel what I'm saying? Like I feel like black people, they should be paid for their vote or get their reparations. They don't get the reparations, nobody should be voting.
Something for their vote that show that, well, to get something out of it. I mean, do you think there's more of us needed within politics? There is a lot of people out there. Recently, even from the rap community, Scarface has, expressed that he's going to be going into, running, and he's going to be doing some stuff. And hip hop's always had that political aspect. Do you think the problem is when it comes to us seeing people that we can sort of trust? We have a lot of mistrust for others, especially even within our own community. Sometimes mistrust the pastors, mistrust the community leaders, mistrust of.
We don't trust ourselves. Let's not trust a community leader.
Yep.
We don't trust ourselves. Shit.
But do you think they would trust like these rappers or artists more if they see them in a political phase? Because even with some of the original sort of presidents and stuff, they came from different paths. Some of them came from like acting and stuff like that. We've been seeing with Schwarzenegger hitting Congress and stuff. So other communities and stuff have done it too. So I think. You think it would make a difference if they seen like we've had Kanye even talk about running for president?
Hell no. I mean, it may, but I doubt it because how black people think we don't trust shit. So we look like if you didn't made it up that far with them white people, we ain't gonna trust you either. But because of the fact that we know that you have to dance to their tune. Once you get up that far up that ladder, you have to dance to that tune. So we feel like okay, this nigga he just got our color. You know what I'm saying? He just got our color, but that doesn't mean he's for black people. Now, in order for black people to really believe that shit, you're going to have to show it. And if you ain't showing it, then we not believing nothing. We don't believe nothing no motherfucking way. So, period. Like, break the reparations out. It's going to go back to the white man anyway, but that's a way to let black people know that you are appreciated for all the things that you've done. Even if we was beating you and putting holes on you and sicking dogs on you and all that type of shit, black people has contributed to this to the U.S. And it's a slap in the face by not showing us. You can show us on TV. You can show us on TV with people with their knees on their neck, on our neck, and all that type of shit. But you can't show some homage to black people. Oh, y'all making money? Y'all making millions? Okay, all right. But if a black person puts his millions towards something, a cause, they're gonna tell them that's not a good idea. You're gonna lose fans.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy when we think of that. There's a lot of obviously coercion and stuff that happens around the scenes, management, handling, and stuff like that, things of that nature. Looking at the media, we spoke about the media earlier with just the imagery that they show in terms of relationships and stuff, but switching over like the imagery that they show of people, obviously primarily we see a lot of just the so-called slave movies and stuff and certain kind of narratives or certain street movies and stuff like that. Do you feel the media plays a positive or negative role in the depiction that it gives of Black Americans or even just blacks in general around the world to others?
Hell no. I feel like a lot of these journalists, traded white sheets for pens and pads. I feel like a lot of these races had traded their white sheets for police uniforms. I feel like a lot of these devils and a lot of these people that's nigga hating type white people. Not saying all white people, because there's a lot of white people that's not with none of this type of shit. But I'm talking about for those who are, they traded their white sheets for black robes. They traded their white sheets for bank people in the inside to stop you from getting loans. All these all play parts in certain things. Racism is whack, man. Racism is whack when a person has the qualifications and the skills to do this certain job and you won't give it to them because of their color of their skin. How sad. That's what I'm talking about. That's that real shit. You know what I'm saying? Like a Harvey Weinstein and all the rest of them. You know what I'm saying? I look at like they're the worst people because of the fact of these are people that went against their parents for their craft. These are people that saved up money for a whole year to be able to come to California or come to Los Angeles to look for their start and their chance, because they believe in their dream, and you got somebody dangling. You know what I'm saying? Your dream over in your face, but you got to suck some dick or you got to do something way out. You know what I'm saying? That shit is whack. Real shit.
It's crazy. It's definitely a misuse and abuse of power. Let's check a little bit of some of this back out.
Now they shooting in school, see what I'm saying? And the killers getting younger and younger. Blood sacrifice, feed the devil's hunger. Take a look in the mirror. You better open your eyes. The revolution has now been televised. Niggas is institutionalized. Better read the signs.
Most featuring the Watts Prophets,
Sir. Yes, sir. I'm proud of that song. It may not be the run to the dance floor and all that type of shit and twerk and all that type of shit. But I think that, I did it for a different reason. You never know how long a motherfucker may be on this earth. You never know what may happen in this world. But you know that you can go back and dust some shit off and rub some dirt off and dust some dust and debris off. You can go put that motherfucker CD in and you can listen to that shit. And motherfucker was talking about some spiritual shit and some real shit. Even though I may use profanity or whatever the case may be, still in all my intentions is good. And my motivation is for my people. Straight up.
No, definitely, man. We appreciate that, and we definitely commend that. I think it's something with hip hop that's ultimately important because a lot of us who are familiar with the original inceptions of hip hop and just the culture that it's grown into being and has become, but we hold closely and dearly just how it started from the outset, which was always that sort of voice for the people and for the community and stuff. I know a lot of artists now, as you said, it's about party and BS and other stuff, and their voices are often quiet when it's on wider issues, sometimes just for the lack of knowledge that they've got themselves, or sometimes even for the lack of awareness or even caring. I don't think a lot of people care that much about certain issues, especially in a society now where
what it is.
Materialism is at a major, from you can say, oh, well, I've got this and I've got that, I'm straight. And I think that's most people's concern is visual image and perception.
So-called. It's all what it is, man. All I'm about positivity and peace and keeping your head up. You know what I'm saying? That's why before I get off this podcast, man, all I have to say is y'all stop this killing, man. For real. What are you really getting out of it? Stop this killing. Real talk. Blood, Crip, SA, whatever the fuck. I don't give a fuck about none of that. I'm saying I challenge you as a person, you know what I'm saying, on this earth. You'll kill somebody that look like you. Kill for a purpose. Not saying killing is killing. Not saying go kill nobody. I ain't saying that. What I'm saying, but for those who's turned up like that, kill for a purpose, man. You know what I mean? So that killing ain't getting nowhere, bro. it's not getting anybody nowhere but a whole bunch of grief and everybody sitting around looking crazy. You know what I'm saying? Over some dumb shit. The shit is not adding up to nothing. So
we gotta get to some reality and keep kicking that reality. I'm gonna play a quick verse off a track that I did called Skywalker, but it features a message that I feel should be rained out, and it features a notable voice that some will be familiar with, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan.
And how do you know, Brother Farrakhan, that it is a conspiracy? That in a global economy, the masses of the people of the earth are the victims of a shrewd, manipulative 10%. Who know the living God, who know the reality of cause and effect.
They say the odds are useless if the mind blind. Some stuck confusion to define time. Constructs of space and matter. You can truly find freedom here and after. Hidden portals, mortal ascension, sky walking towards a different existence. Do you dig that? Can you process? Manifest through conscious focus. Lifted, floating out of sight, parasailing. Zoned out, roll bounce from the hell I'm facing. Tron vision bar numeral. Meditating, ever elevating, creating, cause the sky's high. My ties with wise guys. Time flies, you live and see the crime rise. Pretty in the city with infamous drive-bys. No gimmicks, no limiting. Likewise, about that life, we the enterprise. So extra dimensional. Cenobites, they don't like. Sneak this type, stuck on hype. Must have not heard no squares loud. Resounding on the resume. Set pace every day. Game like Triple H. Ask about my pedigree. Come let's journey next place. Minds are open, get straight. Wanna be put in the best state. Turn space opportunity, left take. Get away sideways next round. Truth been out there, X-Files. Squares no talk on the guess how. We incur the fresh crown. Hopeless how. Some let down themselves in the process. Slaves to the prophets.
Dope, bro.
Yeah, I wanted to share that verse. Mainly, I wanted to share the message the minister was echoing out there. I appreciate the settlement, keeping it in the spirit of hip hop, but just to advocate that, like we said, us as conversationalists and even as artists, we report on the wider issues, what happening in the world, try and give people perspective in our conversation and in our music and stuff like that too, man.
Right. And big up to Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, man. Remarkable man. Speaks about the truth. Misinterpreted sometimes, take him out of context and all of that. They make it seem like he's this, he's a racist, he's that. That man speaks the truth. Big up to him. Big up to Khalid Muhammad. Rest in peace. R.I.P. man. And all the fallen soldiers that we've lost this in this year alone. But yeah, man. Big up to Farrakhan. The message is remarkable.
Oh yeah, no doubt, man. So go switching things up, going forward. We got some hip hop coming. You got any new releases and stuff that you got coming for the people?
I'm working on mine right now, untitled. I just been coming up with the songs, and it's funny how everybody has their format of song, how they come with their shit. I just I don't know, man. It's amazing to me how you'll go into a room and it's of equipment, and it's people that come in there as you go in there, and you don't have any song, but when you leave that motherfucker, you got a song. You know what I'm saying? It's remarkable. But I'm working on a new record right now. Really, I'm trying to focus on acting. So I've been getting a couple of little scripts and shit like that, but I'm really focusing on acting. One of my favorite shows is on HBO is Insecure, out of Inglewood, where I'm at. I'm focusing on that. I'm about to do this next record, and I'm about to put my all into it and say everything that I wanted to say. Because out of the time I've been doing music, I haven't been able to say what I wanted to say. So I'm about to do that, and and just focus on acting, man, and live my life, man. Shit, and eat me some brisket and go sit my ass down somewhere.
Yeah, we definitely got some movies to make in the future, man. 100%. I think that's definitely a good chamber to get into. We talk about music and just being artists and being able to paint pictures on the canvas, but you can be limited to a certain aspect. Even though music is wide and we touch on so many different varieties, but as an actor, the dimensions, the dynamics that you're able to really get into and convey with stories and stuff. It's like you mentioned in Jungle Fever and stuff earlier, and so many other movies and stuff that are noteworthy and depictions that have been put out there. And to be a part of some great stuff like that would be good for the future, man.
All right, that's what it's all about. The future. It's about credit. It's about minding your own fucking business. It's about getting close to your family. It's about providing for your family. It's about doing the right things. We getting older, you know what I'm saying? And life is perfect, man. So
I was just gonna say on a quick economic note, because you did mention credit, and earlier you mentioned just the monetary system changing. Now we know that there is a lot of talk nowadays about digital assets, cryptocurrency, things of that nature,
right.
NFTs. So these are things that encourage.
It ain't the thing no more to be throwing money on the flow for strippers. It ain't the thing to throw money. You could take that money and go invest in some shit. Go and invest in some Chick-fil-A's. You can go. Every time I pass a Chick-fil-A, it's a line around the corner, around the block. So that's what I'm about to be on, man. And the thing is, we got to start doing instead of talking about it. Niggas got to start putting in action and doing this shit and getting it together.
And people got to start helping and coming together where they can, because a lot of us who got vision, I know I got ideas and stuff like that. Sometimes, I was talking to Freedom, shouts out to Free, the other day we were saying the same thing, like we got the work and the jobs there, but it's having the people there to, want to do it or to go out there and do it and handle it and stuff as well, because, one man can't do everything. It takes others coming together, supporting some of the same stuff we were speaking on earlier, even just bringing different skills to the forefront and table. If you've gone out there and you've studied to be in accounts or something, or you've studied to be in admin or, anything clerical skills, you could take those skills and use that within somebody who's developing a local business, and maybe leverage to be a part of the business and stuff. Cooperation. There's different aspects of stuff to look at. It's not just about.
It's about playing your position. Like everybody wants to be the boss. Everybody wants to be the boss. Too many chiefs and not enough Indians. Play your position. You know what I'm saying? And earn that position that you're trying to get, instead of saying that I'm a boss. But what it takes to be a boss is letting other people be bosses. It's making bosses. That's what a real boss is to me, is when they make a boss. You never know how long your money is going to last in this world. But if you made some bosses, then you're going to get some money. If they true, you know what I'm saying? If you put a motherfucker on for real and show them better than you can tell them. But what it is that a lot of times we try to show our people, and the right people try to show our people, and then they introduce to the wrong people and they burn them. So it makes you not want to help your people. But at the same time, you see somebody that's really struggling and they trying. People only want to help people those who trying. If you trying, the people are willing to help you. But if you just just get money and that's it, no, nobody want to be bothered with that, man. You know what I mean? And then forget about your people. The same asses you don't kiss on the way up is the same asses you're gonna kiss on the way down. Real talk.
Yeah, no, that's a fact, man. And I think that's perfect way for us to start winding down. Family, we appreciate you guys checking in. You can check out the DOATBM podcast on iHeartRadio, Anchor FM, Spotify, all other digital platforms, as well as BattleOnline.com, where you can check in for more hip-hop news, updates, and segments. We always got Floss on there representing and stuff as well. He's going to be back soon with the new music, breakdowns, and stuff too,
From the west side of things, I'm like a correspondent, you know what I mean? That's on the west side of things that can explain to you without having to bash motherfuckers and, have a bunch of shit stirred up. You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you the truth. So, and I ain't going to pull no punches with you. And I'm going to tell you what it is and what it shall be. So that's all it is, man. Floss mode in the house, man. You dig?
family? Welcome to BattleOnline.com, your one-stop shop for the highest hip-hop edutainment. Bringing you the dopest no-limit interviews, hip-hop legends, reviews, views, news, and more. So if you haven't already, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be updated on new drops and content.